We're about to dive into a really common kitchen mystery, one that connects our pets, our appliances, and a danger that's completely invisible and silent. Well, at least to us.
If your cat suddenly recoils when you turn on the induction cooktop, here's the real reason. This isn't just some random quirk. It's a reaction to something very real and, for your cat, incredibly unpleasant.
So what's going on here? That reaction you're seeing? It's actually a protective reflex. Your cat is flinching from a sound that's physically painful to them. It's a phenomenon called acoustic stress, and it's set off by these super high-frequency noises that our human ears just can't detect. For your cat, it's not just some annoying buzz. It's a full-on assault on their senses.
So where does this sound even come from? Well, it all goes back to how induction cooktops actually work. They create this powerful magnetic field that literally vibrates the metal of your cookware to create heat. And that vibration, it produces this high-pitched ultrasonic whine, a squeal somewhere in the 20,000 to 50,000 hertz range. We can't hear a thing, but for your cat, imagine a siren going off right next to its head. Yeah, it's that bad.
Okay, so now that we know the culprit, here's what we're going to break down. We'll look at the invisible annoyance itself and then dive into your cat's supersonic world. We'll talk about how to decode their stress signals, and this is a big one, how this panic can actually become a fire hazard. Then we'll get into 5 steps for a safer kitchen and finish up by looking at your home's overall sonic landscape. All right, first up, a cat's supersonic world. To really get why this noise is such a huge deal, you got to step outside of your own, human hearing. We need to try and imagine the world as a cat hears it. And trust me, it's a world filled with sounds we can't even begin to imagine. Just look at the difference here. It's staggering. A healthy young human, we top out around 20,000 hertz. Dogs, who we all think have super hearing, they go up to 45,000. But cats? Whoa, they can hear all the way up to 64,000 hertz. They are living in a completely different acoustic reality than we are. And this table, this really lays out the whole problem, doesn't it? That cooktop noise, sitting right between 20K and 50K hertz. It's not just hitting the edge of your cat's hearing. No, it's landing smack dab in the middle of their ultrasonic sweet spot. This is the exact range they evolved to use for hunting rodents. It's a frequency they are hardwired to be incredibly sensitive to. So, the main takeaway here? We're not just making some background hum. We are blasting a sound that's tied directly to their most primal survival instincts.
So our cats can't exactly tell us, hey, that sound really hurts, right? So it's up to us to become experts in their body language. Let's get into decoding those feline stress signals so you know exactly what to look for.
You'll see a pretty clear escalation. Step 1 is just immediate avoidance. The cat just wants to get away from that sound, so it'll back away or just bolt from the room. But if they can't leave, you move to step 2, the body language shift. Look for the ears flattening back, airplane ears. Their pupils get huge, and their whole body just tenses up. And finally, if it gets really bad, they'll start vocalizing. Hissing, growling, maybe that really distressed meow. They're trying to fight back against a threat they can hear but can't see. Look, the cat's discomfort is a big deal on its own. But this is where things get really serious. That panic can escalate from a scared cat to an actual fire hazard. A freaked-out animal in a kitchen can set off a chain reaction that puts the entire house in danger.
And I know what you might be thinking. So what? My cat gets startled all the time, it's no big deal. But is a startled cat really just a minor problem? What happens when that jump scare happens right next to a powerful heating appliance?
Yeah, this is not some theoretical what-if scenario. We're talking hundreds of cases. In South Korea alone, the National Fire Service has recorded hundreds of house fires that they've confirmed were started by cats accidentally turning on induction cooktops. A split second of panic can, and absolutely has, led to total catastrophe.
So how is this even possible? I mean, a cat can't turn a knob, right? Well, that's the thing. Modern cooktops don't have knobs. They have those sleek touch controls. And that's where the problem is. They use a technology called capacitive touch. It's the exact same tech in your smartphone screen. It works by sensing anything that can conduct a tiny electrical charge, like your fingertip, or, you guessed it, a cat's paw pad.
So here's the nightmare scenario step by step. Your cat's paw pads have sweat glands, right? That makes them a little moist and warm and conductive. So the cooktop's awful sound makes them panic, and in that panic, they jump without looking, landing right on the controls. The cooktop can't tell the difference between a paw and a finger, so poof, it registers a touch and turns on. Now, if you have a roll of paper towels, a cookbook, even a cereal box sitting nearby, you've just placed kindling right next to an open flame. Okay, that was pretty scary. But the good news is, this whole thing is completely preventable. So let's walk through 5 concrete steps to a safer kitchen to protect both your pet and your home. These are things you can start doing, like today.
All right, let's get into it. Step 1, and this is the big one, the most important one. Activate the child lock. Every modern cooktop has it. Find that little lock symbol. When you're done cooking, just press and hold it until it beeps. It completely disables the controls, 100% effective. Boom, problem solved. Step 2, use high-quality cookware. Cheaper, thin pans vibrate a lot more, creating that awful noise. Heavier, multi-layered pots and pans are more stable and can actually dampen the sound. Third, cover the cooktop. You can get these hob covers that create a physical barrier. Simple, but it works. Fourth, relocate their bowls. If your cat's food and water in the kitchen, you're inviting them into the danger zone. Move them somewhere else. And finally, number 5, isolate them during cooking. Look, just put your cat in another room with the door closed while you're using the stove. It spares them the stress entirely.
So we focused a lot on the induction cooktop, but let's zoom out a little and look at your home's entire sonic landscape. Because while the stove might be the loudest and most obvious offender, it's probably not the only source of this kind of acoustic stress in your house.
A common question people have is, well, can a cat just get used to it? You know, if they hear it every single day, won't they just learn to tune it out like we do with the hum of the fridge?
The answer to that is a hard no. Absolutely not. See, this isn't a psychological fear. It's not something they can get over. It's a physiological assault. Those high-frequency sound waves are physically putting pressure on their incredibly sensitive eardrums. Forcing them to endure it doesn't make them tougher. It just creates chronic stress and could even lead to permanent hearing damage.
And think about this, it's not just the cooktop. You know that high-pitched whine from an old CRT television? Or the nearly silent flicker from a fluorescent light that's about to go? And don't even get me started on those ultrasonic pest repellers. All of those things are pumping out frequencies that can put our pets in a constant state of low-grade stress. Now, if you happen to be in the market for a new appliance, this is a really key comparison to make. Unlike an induction cooktop that makes noise by vibrating the pan, an infrared cooktop uses radiant heat from halogen bulbs or heating coils. What does that mean? It means it's almost totally silent. It's a much friendlier choice if you have pets who are sensitive to noise.
And to wrap up, here's something pretty fascinating. A way you can actually help your cat de-stress. Scientists have developed something called cat-specific music. It's not just random classical music, it actually uses frequencies and tempos that mimic sounds cats love, like purring and suckling. And playing this after a stressful event, like after you've used the cooktop, can literally help lower their heart rate and calm their entire nervous system. It's kind of cool, right? Using sound to heal instead of to harm.
So let's end with this question. Now that you can, in a way, hear what your cat hears, what other invisible stressors might be hiding in your home? It really makes you think, doesn't it? What other parts of our very human world are our pets just silently putting up with?